What's up, everybody? Chilling in the basement, me and my friend Derek. Derek is, actually maybe I should wait a second if anybody seems to tune in or not. I'm not really sure. Where did I put my drink? Oh, here we go. So, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good. I did a live video last night. I didn't really know what the hell I was going to talk about. I was just up late at night, as usual, and I didn't have a game plan, so to speak. But a lot of people sent me messages today saying that they loved the stuff I was talking about, and it felt good. You know, I guess that's just me sharing my views with the world. A lot of us try to do that on Facebook, and a lot of times on Facebook it's hard to do because obviously it's lost in translation. Exactly, it's a mixed message. Things are lost in translation. You type things, you mean one thing, and people take it a different way. Sarcasm doesn't come across at all on Facebook. Anybody who knows me personally, I'm fucking sarcastic. It is what it is. So a lot of times people don't get my things, and they don't understand. So I get it. But tonight, what I wanted to do, obviously anybody who does look at any of the stuff I post about, I'm a good person. I don't mean any harm. I don't mean to offend anybody by what I post about. I do it because I care. Yeah, you know, I love people. I care about people. I mean, Derek, I've known you how long now? Maybe like 2 or 3 months?
Yes, sir.
If that. He's a friend of Heather's. I've known him about 2 or 3 months. We clicked. He knows I'm a good guy. He's a good guy. We hit it off. He's, I wouldn't say starting to understand a lot of the stuff I post about because he's posted about it himself. But even he asked me a lot of questions, and we sit at night and we have tons of conversations about it. And he understands it a lot better in conversation rather than reading posts on Facebook. So I wanted to do a live video so we could talk about a few things. I'm not even going to talk about like politics. I'm not going to talk about that stuff. What I am going to talk about is like intro, so to speak, intro 101 to understanding how to think for yourself. And that's important because that's a quality not a lot of people have these days, is like they watch things on the TV and
the media decides for yourself.
Yeah, you know, the media decides, and unfortunately it's hard. So people don't have their own opinions. So how do you kind of unplug from that? How do you get your opinions back? And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit. And I wrote some things down tonight, so I'm not just like a mumbling fool. First thing I wanted to talk about is question everything. That's the most important thing. If you don't have the mentality to question everything, if you don't look at everything with a complete 100% open mind, hold on one second, Justin, we're going to get to that stuff. But if you don't have an open mind to really like say, okay, maybe everything I was taught was wrong, then you're never going to have your own opinion. Like everything, even the most foolish theories, I've looked into them. I've looked into, oh, you gotta turn that off. Yeah. I've actually looked into them. So some of them I believe, some of them I don't believe. You have to do what makes sense for you. Some things are gonna make a lot of sense, some things aren't gonna make sense. And that's, you know, that's the important thing. So you have to be in the mentality to really be able to question everything. And that means a lot of the stuff that you've learned your whole life is gonna be wrong. And you'll find out later on in your questioning, you know, and maybe I'll do a bunch of these videos if people like them, as to how what we've been taught has been wrong. But more importantly, just, you know, like just the mentality that you need to get to that point. Okay, so and one thing is, and Derek just asked me before, and he knows what it is. He just doesn't know that there was an actual term for it. I said, you know, I wanted to maybe talk about cognitive dissonance tonight, and he's like, you know, what is that? And I know you know what it is, because you've dealt with it a million times, I'm sure. But what cognitive dissonance is when you've been taught one thing your whole entire life, and it's almost like Neo in the Matrix, but I don't want to go there. But it's when you've been taught one thing your whole entire life, and then some new information comes up that's contradictory to what you've been taught, and you can't deal. Like, you reject it. No matter what, you're going to reject it. Your brain doesn't know how to function. Your brain doesn't know how to understand and deal with the new information that you've been taught. And therefore, you're going to rationalize any way possible to try to make this new information not be true. You could be presented with the facts 100%, and still, because your whole life you've been taught one way,
you still have questions.
Exactly. You're still going to have questions. You're going to have a million questions. But the whole thing is, it's called cognitive dissonance. And there's a bunch of different stages of it. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it makes you nauseous. But basically, whole point of it is you need to go through those stages. My profile picture for a long time was the truth will set you free, but first it will make you sick. And that's what it is. You know, for me, you know, my truth, you need to find your one truth. You need to find that one truth for you that you felt that your whole life you've been maybe lied to about, or it just didn't make sense. Maybe what you taught in school didn't make sense. And once you question that and find out maybe that was a lie, that is just going to connect the dots, and the domino theory is going to happen. You're going to try and think about a million other things.
It's that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole. And you're going to think of a million other things that maybe you've been lied to. And then you're going to see that they're all connected somehow. And how are they connected? Well, a lot of these things you might have been lied to about these things for a reason. Why would that be? Maybe somebody has something to benefit by that. Maybe it's money. And I always say all the time, follow the money. You follow the money, you're going to find 99.9% of your problems in this world. You know, maybe less. Maybe 5% is sick fuckers. But the other 90 to 95, 99% is just going to be money. And that's the bottom line. So a lot of these things come down to money. And people want to control you and manipulate you and make you believe a certain way because maybe they have something to benefit by it. I'm trying to actually read all the comments as they come in. They're coming in quick. So anyway, what's up, everybody? So the whole point is you have to be willing to go past that and really be willing to, you know, even if it makes you sick, you're going to have to do that. I mean, how did you feel when you first kind of woke up to anything? Like, what was your first thing?
I felt like I was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like I was crazy too. My first thing was GMOs. I was like, no way, you know, this is just food. I'm going to eat it. It's fine. I can eat this food all day long. And like the more and more I researched into it, the more I realized that was just
all the pieces fit.
Yeah. BS science. And there's a great video to watch by that. It's by TEDx. It's called AstroTurf. And it talks about how these big companies with big money are able to plant whatever they want in all these different advertisements, and they buy off scientists to talk about one thing. And, you know, it's all to drive their own agenda of making money. And that's why when you see so many people, and that's what they've done, is they've created so much information out there that's false science, disinformation, that unfortunately a lot of people believe it. And that's why we have debates online, and which is why I'm doing this video in person again, that really we don't get our points across, because in essence we're arguing based on these facts. We're both right because we're both really reading facts. It's just which are the real facts. And we're not all scientists. We can't all sit there and test every single little theory. We all have jobs. We all have livings to make and things to do, you know. And unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. So the point is, you know, I want to talk about some of these stages and how we get there. So cognitive dissonance, it might make you sick, unfortunately, but eventually if you get past that, you will see that there are a lot of things that you've been lied to in life. A lot. And you know, it's scary that most people don't care because we've been conditioned not to care. There's a lot of things that have been done to us over the years, whether you want to hear about it or not. We're not going to talk about too many of them on this video. I want to kind of keep it basic, but there's a lot of things that we've been lied to about, and you'll see that there's just all systems of control. The three biggest systems of control are politics, religion, and money, bottom line. That's why Washington, D.C., the Vatican, and I think, I forgot the third one. Adam, you'll know the answer. Adam, help me out with this one. The answer to the third one, there's three systems of control that are not controlled by international law. They're like non-existent. Like Washington, D.C. is the one that we all know about. It's not part of the 50 states. It's its own District of Columbia. But basically, it's these things are outside of normal law, and that's what's going on in the world. So these are systems of control. And in essence, you have to question everything. You're going to get yourself sick. And then you make the choice as to whether you're going to be ignorant or not. Because I forgot who explained it. I'm totally drawing a blank. It was in a Free Your Mind conference video, great video. It was talking about nescience versus ignorance, or nescience versus ignorance. And there's a difference. If you look them in the dictionary, they're pretty much going to say they're the same thing, but they're not. Nescience is not knowing about something. And therefore, you know, if you don't know about it, how do you know something's wrong? Ignorance is knowing about something and either burying your head or not doing anything about it. And that's a big difference. So if you find out about something and it brings you outside of your comfort zone and you don't want to talk about it, that's a problem. You know, and I apologize if I offend anybody when I say this, but you're a pussy. I'm sorry. You know, get past that. You know, maybe you weren't hugged enough as a kid. Maybe you were hugged too much as a kid. I mean, it's the truth. you got to get past that, and you have to understand that it's going to hurt for a while. But if your hurting is going to be better than being ignorant, turning a blind eye, and not caring. And that's the bottom line. And the reason that the world is in such turmoil, and that the reason why so many people care and so many people are arguing with each other, is because the world is a messed up place right now. And the reason it's a messed up place right now is because nobody cares. And if people cared, people did things about it and changed things about it, then hey, we wouldn't have this problem. Which kind of brings me into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which are some of the different fallacies right now. Because the big fallacies are things that we've led to believe that could have been wrong for whatever reason. Certain fallacies could be like, my favorite is that, well, there's two of my favorite. One is the consensus fallacy. The consensus fallacy says, well, everybody says this is the case, so this has to be the case. You know what I mean? True. Derek, you're shaking your head on with me. Yeah. So, like, for instance, like hundreds of years ago, like germs. If you believed in germs, if you thought that there's a little microscope, I think I got this from the movie 12 Monkeys with Brad Pitt. Like, if you believed in germs hundreds of years ago, you were crazy. But now, if you don't believe in germs, you're crazy. So that's perfect example of a consensus fallacy right there. So the more and more times that people go back to sleep and don't pay attention to what's going on, the more the consensus fallacy is staying in the wrong direction. So if you know something is true, and this goes back to what I was saying yesterday in my video, I don't know if anybody watched it, but like, it goes back to what I was saying is, there's some people that like, that agree with some of the crazy, or as crazy as you might think they are. There's a lot of people that agree with what I post, but they don't want to be categorized in that other side of the consensus fallacy. So even if they 100% agree or love it or whatever the case is, they're not going to like something like that out of public fear of the consensus fear. So that's why I get these messages all the time about it. I don't know, do you get messages about that stuff?
Absolutely.
So I get messages all the time about it, private messages, text messages, emails, like phone calls. My friends are like, yo, can you break this down to me and explain this to me? And it's just like, the more people, instead of doing that in private, and I get it, don't get me wrong, some people are, not necessarily as ready to do that, I guess. But the more people stop doing that in private, and the more that they start to come out in public doing that, the more that consensus fallacy is going to swing in the other direction. You know what I mean? So, anything to say about that while I take a drink?
No.
Derek doesn't like to be on the camera. I'm drinking some Dragon's Blood mead right here. It's really good, by the way. So, that's what I had to say about the consensus fallacy. So, that's important. So, as much as these private messages and things like that, and these text messages, they all mean a lot to me. Like, so many people have told me, oh, I've woken them up, and that's great. But the more people talk about it in public and in real, and that's when the consensus fallacy is going to swing in the other direction, and that's when everybody's not going to be scared. And that's when that 1% swings to the 99 percentile. And that's important. So another fallacy I want to talk about, this is my other favorite, is the ad hominem fallacy. Anybody here who posts real shit that is not in the mainstream media is gonna go in through this. If you haven't heard of that, it's basically when you're called a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. There's so many different versions of ad hominem. It's it could be, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. So the information that I'm just presenting to you as 100% fact is now no longer valid because I'm a conspiracy theorist. Because I believe that there's some people that conspire together to benefit themselves, even if they're screwing other people.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're doing it alone.
No, but you know what I'm saying. No, in general, I'm not saying that we're doing that. I'm saying you believe that some people will conspire and do things together to
for their gain.
Sure. Exactly. Yeah. So that's the bottom line is, so that's the biggest one. So an ad hominem attack is if you're presenting solid facts and you can back them up with proof. And I'm not talking about crappy memes. And look, I'm guilty of it too. Every now and then, like, I'm busy, I'm doing a million things, I'm working while I'm on Facebook, and I post something that's not 100% fact-checkable. And if I do that, I'll take that shit down if somebody points it out. Okay, that's what I do. 99% of the stuff that I post, I fact-check first. And that's what you need to do. So if you're believing in your facts, and you're 100%, and somebody calls you a conspiracy theorist, that's just them not having anything intelligent to bring to the table. That's what it is. That's them that's a cop-out. That's what it is. What are some other versions of that? Unfortunately, because, and we'll talk about this in a bit, but the information that we get a lot of the websites that we get a lot of our information from, they're not going to be on mainstream media. And again, we'll talk about that why, but so a lot of them don't have like these multi-professional names. They don't come from CBS. They don't come from NBC. They don't come from PBS, but a lot of them do, and we'll point those out too. But therefore, like some of these names might suck, lack of a better word. It's going to come from like IlluminatiKillers.com or whatever it is. You guys all probably understand what that is. And even if the fact makes sense, like water is wet, but it comes from Illuminati.com, somebody's going to argue with you just because it came from Illuminati.com. That's another ad hominem attack. They're attacking the source of your information rather than the credibility of the information. Okay, and that's important too. You need to understand that. What is another one? The authority consensus. That's another good one too. The authority consensus is basically perfect example. I don't know if anybody here has done any research on what fluoride does for you. Do homework on it. It's freaking horrible for you. Okay, horrible for you. You should not be ingesting this. Even if it is potentially good for your teeth, let's just give that the benefit of the doubt for 1 second. And this is not a talk about fluoride. I just want to give you an idea of what a consensus fallacy is. Even if fluoride is potentially good for your teeth, there is no benefit of ingesting it into your body that needs to be in the water.
Oh, it's poisonous.
Poisonous. End of story. If you see on a toothpaste, it's a pea-sized amount of swallow you should call poison control, but we could drink this stuff all freaking day long. So there's no benefit of drinking it in your water. Maybe you want to brush your teeth with it, whatever. I'm not getting into that. But the point is, your dentist says you need to do it. Your dentist is a position of authority. So if your dentist tells you to do something as a position of authority, what do you do?
You do it.
That's the bottom line. And because of that, if you understand why these dentists came from, and this is totally another video, we're not going to get into who funds the American Dental Association, the Medical Association, the school, so we'll get into all those other systems of control on another video. But all these things, I'm trying to keep up with these comments. Can you read some of them as they're coming in?
Clogs pineal gland.
Clogs pineal gland, yes. Absolutely. Yes, things like that. But again, I'm not even
dumbed down.
Yeah, that's the dumbing down of America. So it's another part of the systems of control. So we're going to get into all that stuff in probably other videos. Today, I wanted to talk, if anybody who's kind of just joining right now, I'm just talking about like the general ideas of how to go through the stages of waking up, because we've all been there. We found a lie, it made us sick, we researched it, we choose to either go back to sleep about it or we don't. So there's stages of, what did we talk about? Questioning everything. We talked about cognitive dissonance. We talked about nescience versus ignorance. Now we're talking about the different fallacies. We've talked about the ad hominem fallacy, the consensus fallacy, and the popular opinion fallacy. So there's so many other popular opinion fallacies too, like doctor popular opinion, like radiation is good when you have cancer. There's so many other ways to cure cancer. Again, this is not a video about any of that stuff, but that's the point. Like if your doctor says you need to do this, most people are going to do it. So what are some other types of fallacies? The fallacy that the media is right. That if the media talks about it, it's right. Can I get a thumbs up if that's the biggest BS you've ever heard in your entire life? Like seriously, the media is owned by a few corporations that control your opinion. That's what they are. They sell you stuff. If it goes against their opinion, they're not going to talk about it. Right. Bottom line. They're not going to talk about it. So that's one of the reasons, again, why all of the posts that a lot of the things that we talk about are not about, what the hell were those?
A lot of hotheads.
What were those things?
Hotheads.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't even know. Oh, the hotheads?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what those mean. Oh, it shows the things as they come in through. That's cool. So my point is, you got to think outside the box. So, and Derek, you actually asked me a question like 10 minutes ago. How does the media, what did you ask me? How did they start to control everything?
Yeah, well, obviously broadcast from the beginning.
Well, okay. The way it works, and a lot of naysayers are going to totally doubt this, but hopefully the ones that have done their research on it really understand. The way it works and I don't want to get too much into the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all that stuff, but the Rothschilds bought the Reuters. Reuters, everybody's heard of Reuters, a huge media company. They bought them in the 1800s. Okay, in the early 1900s, the media, the Reuters bought Associated Press. Everybody's heard of Associated Press. Associated Press tells you what your news is for the day. That's the bottom line. They will, in essence, script every media station gets their news from Associated Press. So that's why when you see clips, I think Conan O'Brien actually did one. It was great. And he actually commented on like mainstream TV about it and how they were all like channel after channel after channel after channel after channel were like saying the same thing. It's a slippery slope we have to climb down. It's a slippery slope we have to climb down. It's like one channel after the next after the next. It was like, I don't want to, it was ridiculous. Almost slept and said a bad word. It was ridiculous. So the point is like, why is that? Why is that all media talks about the same thing? Because these people or these corporations at the top are going to want to control what you see for their own benefit. So how does that work? Now, let's take that a step further. Now there's 6 corporations that control literally, I think 2,400. Somebody might know the exact figure. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think there's 5 or 6 corporations that control like 25 or 2,600 different media outlets. So whatever these 5 or 6 corporations want is what they're going to show.
What they're going to create.
Exactly. That's reality, unfortunately, because they're going to program you so much more. We're going to talk about media programming a lot, but so much more than just by what you think, but like how you should think. And how do they do that? A new study shows this. A new study shows that. They don't really talk about the studies. They just say a new study shows this. And then if they do talk about the study, where does that study come from? That study comes from another media outlet that they own. So it's one of the ways that they do that. That's, again, pointing back to that TEDx video, if you weren't here earlier when I mentioned that. It's a great TEDx video you need to watch called AstroTurf. That's how they do that. A new study shows this, a new study shows that, and they start to plant these things on the internet, and they start to plant them everywhere. So even if you see it, they're seeds, exactly, and these little seeds grow. So when these seeds start to grow, what happens is, even if you do a search and you want to get another opinion on it, you're going to see their opinion everywhere because they've already implanted it everywhere. So that's how they control what you think. That's one of the ways that they do. There's a million different ways that the media controls what you think. But just start thinking about that. When you see a new study shows this, just know that maybe there really isn't a study behind it.
Your opinions are no longer opinions.
Yeah, that's important. They're really not. And another thing is, what they do is, what do they say? Another thing. Oh, popular opinion. Popular opinion. What the hell is popular opinion? Popular opinion is whatever the hell they say popular opinion is.
Like the popular vote.
That's it. That's what they say popular opinion is. Where are they getting this from? Well, even if they actually do have a survey to base this on, it's coming from a small select people that they hand selected to create the opinion to be the way that they wanted it to be. Okay, so that's another way that they control you. And that's the bottom line. Hold on one second, sorry.
Like 9 out of 10 doctors approved.
Yeah, and which were those 9 of 10 doctors? That's more of the authoritative fallacy, what Derek just said, but exactly what they do. And then you'll see a commercial for those 9 or 10 doctors. And then all the ads have been bought out by all these 9 or 10 doctors. And you've seen the advertisement so many times that it's already in your head. You feel like you need this product already. And this product's going to, this thing's going to give you that problem and that. Then you'll take another drug, which is going to give you another problem. And next thing you have a heart attack and you're freaking dead. Because all you should have been doing was eating right in the first place. But a couple things I wanted to just really talk about the media today, because this is really important, because everybody's getting their opinions from the media lately, and it really kills me. So again, I wrote a couple things down today, so I'm not just a crazy ranter. How do they do this? Well, first of all, they create fear. Okay, if you read something by Dr. Nick Begich, he has a great quote. The easiest form of mind control is to give the population a sense of anxiety, worry, or fear. Then it is impossible to reach your higher state of consciousness. Bottom line. So you can't really be clear and think about things. You're always worrying because the media pumps worry into you. You're also worrying because you're connected to a society that makes you pay bills, and you're always worrying about bill. Everybody does it. Even if you're doing well to do, you still worry. If you're a business owner, I worry about things all the time. Is my business going to do great? Is it not? I don't know. But my point is, if you have fear in your brain, you can't really let your brain go. You can't be a free-thinking person. You have to worry and fear, and then they control you, and then you're much more easily controlled.
Each and every day.
That's why the media talks about constantly fear. Agendas are fear. This one shot, that one shot, murder, murder, murder. That's what it is. Now, on top of them just talking about it, actually, I posted a good Malcolm X meme today. I forgot what it was. I don't remember what it was. Hold on one second. Let me just go to my page real quick. It was... Sorry for the delay. It was, okay. It was, if you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Anybody think that sounds like our elections? Anyone? Does it sound like they're pitting the population against each other? Everybody hates Trump because he's a bad guy, he's a racist. Everybody hates Hillary because she's a criminal. Because the media is giving you an opinion on what to think about them. Okay? Craft your own opinion. I have mine. If you follow my page, I'm very vocal about them. But I said I don't want to be a political person on this post. I just wanted to make sure you think for yourself. That's important. But getting back to how do they control you? These are two very important things. One, Operation Mockingbird. Derek didn't hear that until before about a couple of hours, about 20 minutes ago, maybe an hour ago. And another one I'm going to talk about too. Operation Mockingbird. Google it. Understand what is going on. Okay? This is where the CIA, it's unclassified. You could Google this. It's all unclassified documents. You could Google them yourself. Probably some of you have. But basically, the CIA tells your media what to tell you. So it gives you an agenda for your government. And that's the bottom line. It goes along with a lot of other CIA things like Operation MK Ultra. That's another one you should Google. Another really cool thing to Google is the MK Ultra American Anthem. Really eye-opening. Watch that. Our parents, well, I don't know about our parents. Maybe some of you are watching this are old. I'm not even seeing who's tuning in, but
parents, yeah.
My parents watch this every day. Like now we have TV channels. They don't stop. We have 100 channels. They go all 24 hours a day. That's what they do. Back in the day when our parents were growing up, TV was kind of in its infancy stages, and they signed off at the end of the night. And every time they signed off, they played the national anthem. Google that. Freaking eye-opening. This is why it's so hard to wake my parents up to all the stuff that's going on in the world, because they're brainwashed to think your government's good, your government would never lie to you, government's good, government is God. Watch that video, it's freaking insane. But anyway, what was I going to say? So Operation Mockingbird is where the CIA infiltrated our media, and they tell the media what to post, and that's the bottom line. And, they got in trouble for doing it, and they stopped. They stopped. You think they stopped?
They stopped.
If you watched the debates, anybody watching the debates, anybody think they stopped it? I mean, come on. What's his name? I forgot the guy's name. I'm drawing a total blank. Who's the guy's name with the white hair that did the second debate? Anybody remember? Somebody help me out here. Post a comment. I don't know. He used to work for the freaking CIA. Who's the guy that did the second debate? Why am I drawing a total blank?
Second debate.
Oh my God. Help me, somebody.
The host?
Yeah, the moderator.
Oh, jeez.
The moderator. Anybody know?
Oh, man, he's gay, too. Oh.
Yeah, but that's not the point. But anyway, the point is he used to work for the CIA. Google it, you'll see he was an actual, he used to work for the CIA. He was a CIA intern. So some question whether that operation is still going on or not. I don't know. If he's still up there in the CIA and he's actually working for the media companies and running the moderator for our elections, I don't know, maybe it hasn't stopped, maybe it has. Another thing you should all Google is Operation Sockpuppet. So important, because a lot of us get our media from online nowadays. Operation Sockpuppet, Google it. You'll see all about it. The military is paying our soldiers to have fake, up to, I think it's 10 or 20 fake profiles apiece, to go out there and be your shills and your, the trolls that basically shill you all day long. That, in essence, when you're trying to preach stuff that are truth, like they're going to sit there and just do every single ad hominem attack in the book that I was just mentioning. Oh, you're just a conspiracy, trying to discredit you rather than the information. They're never going to talk about the information that you're putting forth. They're just going to call you crazy and things like that. Those are shills. Google it. Operation Mockingbird. Google it. Crazy stuff out there. So they have your mainstream TV media controlled. They have your social media controlled. I mean, these are the ways that they try to control your thoughts. Let's not even get into the patents for legitimate, like, electromagnetic control of your thoughts through screens like this phone screen that I'm talking about, like this screen, like this one that you're looking at me on right now. If you're looking, computers, TVs, phones, tablets, Google that stuff too. It's crazy. We'll talk about that in another video. Yeah. Yes, good point, Adam. The word conspiracy, well, I wouldn't say invented. Conspiracy, Adam pointed out a good thing. Conspiracy theory wasn't invented by the CIA. It was used by them as an ad hominem attack. They were the first ones to use it to discredit people by being a free thinker. Anybody who questioned the official story on JFK being shot by one person that bounced and did like a 360 loop or whatever the hell the official story is with a magic bullet, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're crazy. How could you believe that? Like, you know what I mean? It's bullcrap. I mean, that's just the system of control. It's a way for you to never question them. What's up, Amanda? How you doing? If you're just joining, you should, this was a video that was kind of like more focused. This is not just like a random chat. I don't know if you watched my video last night. Anderson Cooper, Adam, thank you. Thank you, guys. Anderson Cooper, the guy with the white hair.
There you go. That's it.
You're supposed to be reading comments, bro. Where's your phone?
My phone's dead.
Oh, go plug that bitch in. But basically, yeah. I mean, he worked for the CIA. It's open, like it's not. That's even admitted on mainstream media. He worked for the CIA. So, like, to think that they're
now
not
he's
still
running elections.
Yeah, and now he's like the moderator for a debate. Like, do you think that's possibly like they're gonna push an agenda? Like, do you? And again, I'm not getting into if it's Trump or Hillary, because again, anybody who knows me know I talk shit about both of them. I think they both suck. Maybe I'll be proven wrong about Trump. Who knows? Maybe I won't. Who knows? Maybe I'll be proven right. I don't know. But the point is, like, if you can't see that whether you were for Trump or against him, or for Hillary or against her, that the moderators were being unfair, you know, in any debate, it's classic media mind control, and that's what they do. Anything else I wanted to talk about? I don't know. I didn't really. Anything else you guys want me to talk about? Hold on a second. Let me check some comments because his phone's dead. Miss you too, Amanda. Amanda is my boy Scott's. But how's your baby doing? Amanda is my close friend Scott's little sister, who I haven't seen in forever. He is totally blue blood. Yeah, I think so too, Adam. Again, I don't want to get too deep into that. I just, again, for me, it's more not like, you know, I think we have to at least give him a shot. I mean, look, I'm the biggest critic. I was a huge critic with Obama in that aspect, but I gave him a shot until he proved me wrong, and I'll do the same with Trump, even though I think he's going to prove me wrong.
I think Trump is going to do things that haven't been done before,
and
touch things that haven't been done before.
And that's the point. And all my friends, Chris, you're on the post. I saw you here too. I'm sure you agree. You think Trump's great. And look, you know, some things.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh. Am I back? Yeah. Thumbs up if I'm back. I don't know. Something just weird happened. Is it still working? Okay, good. I see you guys there. So, you know, again, I'm not, you know, some things he said that he's going to do, again, and I quote, said, maybe he'll do. Maybe he won't do. I don't know. I will give him a shot, though, as much shit as I talked about him. I talked a lot more shit about Hillary. I'm the first one to admit that. My predictions, if you didn't watch my video last night, were the elections are still rigged. I thought they were going to give it to Hillary. They gave it to Trump, I think, just to purposely cause turmoil. There's a lot of people protesting right now, and those protestings are turning violent because of George Soros and the boys. I posted a great video today on my timeline, and it was it was supposed to be on 60 Minutes, and they pulled it. They did not let it air. Great video on 60 Minutes about George Soros for anybody who thinks that he's not funding this stuff. It talks about how he openly admits, look, I do things to make money. I'm a businessman. Then when I go home at night, I'm a person, and I love people. Like, freaking BS. I'm a businessman too. I love people during the day and at night. I don't take on clients that I don't think can use my services. Derek, you've been here sometimes during the day while I'm working, and you could even vouch for it. You're like, he's asked me why I've turned people away, because it's not right to take people on that you shouldn't. You don't fuck people over for a living. That's what you don't do. That's what's wrong in the world. People are out for themselves. People are out to sue people to make money over every little thing, and we turn those people away all day long. So, what are some of the comments here? Cyrus, for you, I'll get naked on a private videos like we normally do, bud. I'm not going to do that on live thing for everybody else to watch. Oh, God. I look hot when I'm crazy? Do you think I look hot when I'm crazy? But,
all the time?
All the time. Cyrus, you missed a good video. I'm kind of trying to wrap it down now. I didn't want to talk for too long, because I want people actually to watch some of the stuff that we've talked about, but this is a good video for you to watch, buddy. You being one of my more educated naysayers. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. You know, you're my boy. I was talking about it today over dinner. Not you. Actually, you actually did come up. Heather and I. She was talking about, how did we get into this? we start talking about like something about fraternity pledging or something, and like I'm like, oh, you don't understand, like I'll have a bond with those guys for life, and like Cyrus busts my chops all day long,
Sure.
but I don't care, I love them, you know, and like you do it in love, and you genuinely think I'm crazy, and I know that you do it because you care about me. I think I'm crazy too, but I like being crazy, so I'm cool with that. But it's educated. My point is, you know, what I was trying to do in this video, if you go back and actually do watch it, is just go through like systems of control and how things work, so to speak. But again, like what I was saying is, you are probably my I would say one of my smartest naysayers, or my most educated naysayers, if you want me to say it like that. And but even you, like, don't shut out my theories completely. You'll actually look into them. You'll do the science. You'll take your time. And I send you a thumbs up for that, for at least doing that. Because so many people don't even do that. They just see the title of something and they freaking hate it. And perfect example. I mentioned this earlier in the video. Like, you know, even I try to do my homework on all the things that I post. And like, you know, today, I don't think I was proven wrong, but like you pointed out to me, you know, how do we even know these guys were Trump fans? And I, you know, even after I read the video, I even said to myself, you know, how do I even really know they're Jewish? And I took that post down. I don't know if you saw that. It says, I don't want BS info on my page. So when I catch myself doing stuff, I will take that, you know, as quick as possible. I need smarter friends. Hey. Oh, sorry, buddy. No, Eric, that's not a solar powered light behind me. I'm redoing my basement. These are lights that I built out of beer bottles. I built these myself. I cut the glasses on them and stuff. Pretty cool. But my point is, you know, where was I just going with that? I forgot. No, Cyrus, I didn't say you're my smartest friend. I said you're one of my smarter naysayers. I have a ton of smart naysayers. Everybody that tells me I'm an idiot happens to be very smart, but the point I was trying to get to is nobody looks into anything. You at least take the time, you'll read an article I post, and then maybe you'll tell me why I'm wrong, and that's important. So like I said before, thumbs up to you for that. You know, you might disagree with a lot of the stuff I post, or maybe you subconsciously agree with a lot of the stuff I post, which is why I feel like you're one of those guys that doesn't post on anything that you agree with, only the stuff you disagree with. Am I right about that? Or maybe not. I don't know. Let me see what you're commenting on. You need smarter friends. Not the perspective of proving the wacky theories. I wish my connection was decent. I'm going to take off. Be good, brother. I'll talk to you, man. Justin, you're the man, too. I love your posts, too. But you get the point I'm trying to get, bro. Any comments on that?
No.
You've probably seen his name if you read it in my post. But dude, it's all love, you know. That's the bottom. Not the perspective of proving the wacky theories. Hold on, let me go back. You need smart friends, but I think you look at things from an unbiased perspective. Well, this is the thing, Cyrus, and to answer that question let me read the question first. He wrote, but I think you look at things from an unbiased perspective, not the perspective of proving the wacky theories. Oh, you think I do, you're saying? Thumbs up if you think you're saying I do that? Or you're saying I only look at things to prove my theories? Who's the timepiece to my left? My friend Cyrus is gay. I love him. Like I said yesterday in yesterday's video, I love all people. Cyrus is one of my best friends. I obviously knew pledging my fraternity that he was gay when we did all that wacky stuff that we were doing. I'm kidding. He's not gay. He's got a wife and kids. He's a great guy. I'm just playing. I look at things biased. Well, okay, so this is my point, Cyrus, and getting to that is I look at things, I post things that I've done so much homework that I believe in. So, I mean, you like to bring up, for instance, like lizards and reptilians and stuff like that. And again, that's one of those ad hominem attacks I talked about earlier. And I get why you do that. You know, it's a joke and you're just a very sarcastic person. And I totally get that. But like what I was saying is I look into everything, like to the point where I've looked into lizards and reptilians. I don't believe it. And therefore I don't post about it. I've looked into so many things that I don't believe in, and therefore I don't post about it. I've looked just the other day, like a week or two ago, I've looked into like the flat earth theory with Derek and my girlfriend.
Oh, man.
And you know, it blew our minds to think about that. But
I'm still blown.
I'm still blown too, but I still think the earth is round. You know, I just, you have to question everything. You have to have the thought in your head that to look into these things.
If you don't, you might as well be like your next guy.
Yeah, and that's the point. So you have to look into them. You have to question them. Now, do I post about them? No, I don't believe them. So the things that I post about, I believe in literally like 100%. I believe in. Like you asked me the other day as a joke. I know you were just busting my chops about, oh, what's my theory on the moon? Do I think it's real? Is it made out of cheese? Have we ever been there or not? And like, my answer was I'm 50-50 on that. And if I'm not 100%, I won't talk about it. I don't post about something unless I'm 100% on it. So when I might sound biased, but it's more like I believe these things 100% because of all the stuff that I do. And it's not just me, like a lot of people see things the way that I do. A lot of people that have unplugged from that mainstream media see things the way that I do. Hold on one second. What are you saying here? Oh, yeah. Look at everything's clicking once, get it. Clicks.
I'm 50% on the moon cheese.
Yeah, I mean, like for the moon, you know what I mean? Like we looked into that together too. I bet once. It's like, I mean, not to. This isn't a theory about the moon, but again, I don't talk about these things because I don't believe in them. So if I sound maybe biased, it's because these are things that I believe in, 100%. But again, like you proved me wrong today, or didn't prove me wrong. You proved that my post was questionable, and I deleted it because that's the type of person I am. Like I don't want to put false information out there because I post what I post about out of love. Like I love people and I care about people, and that's why I post things, because I feel like if I was being lied to about something, like in a relationship, like if somebody was cheating, and this happened to me a long time ago, like one of the girls in my life that I loved, like was cheating on me, and freaking sucks to find that out. Everybody knows that, but like I'm glad I found that out, and had I known, and like I found out that people knew about that and didn't tell me, and I was fucking livid about that.
And that's how it is.
So like, I don't want anybody to ever have to live a lie. And the reason I post these things are because I feel like people are being lied to about a lot of things. And I want the truth to be known. And that's pretty much it.
That's it. That's all it has to be.
I need to see the proof. I don't just see the label of proof. Person needs. Don't make, I know you don't want to talk about the chemtrails though, Cyrus. So, you still haven't been able to answer my number one question about them. And you have looked into the science on that 100%. And I appreciate everything you say, and I agree with a lot of things that you say, but the whole opposite side of the fence is there is no science to back up something showing something being in the air for longer than 2 minutes. Let's take both sides of the air. I'm going to do this really quick because I really don't want to get into it, but I think talking about this in typing won't get my point across as quick as it will as I can talk as a New Yorker really quickly. Really quickly. So there's two schools of thought. There's water in the air that's being condensed through the engine. And then that water stays there, that water vapor stays condensed. It doesn't just expand. Doesn't make sense. So it would stay condensed for hours upon hours in the air, and that would just not expand? That makes no sense. The other theory is that it's coming from the fuel. So how much water needs to be in the fuel? I've even given this to you. How much water would need to be in the fuel in order for that trail to stay in the sky for hours and hours and hours and hours? It doesn't. End of story. Any questions on that one? Anyone? Cyrus, can you answer that one? You have a 10 ones and you say proof doesn't work that way. Well, this is the thing is it does. You have to connect the dots because when they're doing things behind your back, they're never going to come out and say, hey, by the way, we're doing this. The freaking CIA came out the other day and said, hey, we're going to look into solar radiation management as something we need to look into. So let's be freaking honest. If the CIA says we need to look into something, they're fucking doing it already. Name one thing the CIA doesn't do already first before they announce it. Anything. Name one thing. Can anybody name one thing? Anyone? Thumbs up if you can't. Give me something you can if you can. Anyone? You know what I mean? So like, my point is they're talking about it. Micronuclei, a tiny amount goes a long way. Cloud seeding, it does. Yes, it does, and I agree with that. Cloud seeding a little bit does go a long way, micronuclei, and yes. But the thing is, what about the times when you're talking about cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is to make rain. I'm talking about solar radiation management, which is the exact opposite, which is spreading the water vapor out over a period, over places to move the water from one place to another. So that's very different. So they are putting too much condensation nuclei out in the air to do their solar radiation management techniques. So cloud seeding is your telephone in 1950. That's what cloud seeding is. It was a rotary dial thing, and that's what cloud seeding was. They used to do it with flares. They used to light them, and even that stuff was bad. We're not even going to talk about that. But, in essence, what they're doing now is the smartphone. So we've gone from a rotary phone to a digital phone to portable phones to the beepers, pagers, regular cell phones, phones that could take pictures, camera phones, and now smartphones on freaking crack, 50 different versions of smartphones. So if you still think that it's just cloud seeding, what that is in essence, it is just them, it's kind of giving the tip of the iceberg. It's like a bit of, what's the way to look at it? Like the corporate veil, so to speak. I think Dane Wigington said that. It's like the corporate veil is lifting. If they're talking about cloud seeding, that's disinformation for them to point to it as, hey, it's just cloud seeding. It's only happening in a specific area. They're just doing that in the Rocky Mountains for a little bit of snow here and there. That's disinformation. They're doing solar radiation management, which is global. This is going on in countries all over the world. Cyrus, you need to go on to Chemtrails Global Skywatch. There's like 90,000 members from all over the world that post stuff on that all day long. This happens all over the world. They still do cloud seeding and they get the exact same way. They do it exactly. Yes, they still do that. But that's when you're talking about companies that do that. You're talking about corporations that make money to do this. They have cloud seed for the Olympics, that cloud seed to increase snow, that cloud seed for insurance companies that don't want to have bad crops, so they try and make sure that there's rain on their crops. They cloud seed for many reasons. The cloud seeding is not solar radiation management, what the government is doing up there behind our backs. That's very different. When companies cloud seed, they have to fill out NOAA forms, NOAA forms for that. They have to tell what they're using and things like that. That's not solar radiation management. You have to understand the difference. So cloud seeding doesn't create a trail that stays in the sky for hours upon end that eventually spreads out and blankets the sky. You still do cloud seeding? Hold on a second. It just doesn't pass the sniff test, Mike. You know what? Millions of people involved, millions of leaked emails, not one single mention of this multinational global scam involving tens of thousands. See more, hold on, of people. Yes, there are. And I've given you 1 million of those. See, this is what we're doing. Right now, we're deflecting. Let's not talk about that for a second. Let's talk about the science of it. Because you're a science guy. So if you understand the science of cloud seeding, do you understand that the concept of adding nuclei to create rain? You then have to understand the concept of adding too many condensation nuclei to not rain. Therefore, nothing is ever going to get heavy enough to drop and fall out of the sky. It's not ever going to create a raindrop. It's going to spread the water vapor around the world. That's what it does. Do you understand the difference in that? What's been disproven? If they've been disproven by mainstream media, Snopes, Metabunk, or freaking contrail science, that's freaking... Cyrus, you need to watch that video. I've mentioned it a couple times on this. The TEDx video on AstroTurf. You need to watch that video. TEDx, I'm sure you've heard of them. They're reputable, so hopefully you'll at least watch that video, even though you'll probably find it on YouTube, which is another ad hominem attack. Oh, you found that on YouTube, so it can't be legit. Right. But anyway, I didn't want to talk too much about, geoengineering tonight, but Cyrus, the point is, until you prove to me how a contrail, a legitimate actual contrail, can stay in the atmosphere for more than 2 minutes, you're wrong. Your whole side of the argument is wrong. The only reason is because the science doesn't add up. You cannot prove that, then your science doesn't add up. So no matter how many ones you give me in my argument, you don't have any ones. That's the bottom line. Mic drop. No, I'm not mic drop, but that's my point, is you need to prove to me how it can stay there. Which whistleblower? No, it's not different. Cyrus, it's not different. The atmospheric pressure does not have much to do with it. And if that's the case, then I've shown you a video once where there was an actual persistent contrail at 4,000 feet. 4,000 feet. I showed you the video. I tracked the plane. I went to the altitude. I checked the temperature, checked the relative humidity. Plane was flying at 4,000 feet, and it left a persistent contrail. Persistent. It was there for a long, long, long time. So you're saying that certain things do have to do with altitude and others don't? Explain that to me. Because when I brought that to you, you're like, oh, that's not scientific. That was your answer. And drip. Exactly. Start and stop. Okay, Adam, I've looked into the whole start and stop, and this is the thing. There are occasionally real contrails. Like when a plane is ascending through the atmosphere, it's giving a harder boost on the engine. And therefore, if there is water in the engine, it's having to give a harder thrust, and therefore it might, go through some type of atmospheric differences. If those stay there, that's different bullshit. But occasionally you will see a brief contrail start and stop and then start and stop. When it gets to flight altitude,
and sometimes different colors.
Right. Yeah, too.
Yeah.
But at flight altitude where they fly, the air is a lot thinner, so therefore they're using a lot less fuel. So you're so less likely to see a real contrail. Like so many whistleblowers and pilots have stepped forward to say that it's not likely to ever see a real contrail in our lifetimes. The people that don't skywatch, pilots hardly ever see one. The people that don't skywatch are probably never going to see one. End of story. Let me catch up with you. And drip. Oh yeah, and Cyrus, the drip. The drip. I've posted pictures about that. I have videos about that. Water, when it spreads out into the atmosphere, water vapor, when it spreads out into the atmosphere, it doesn't drip. Particulates drip. Metal particulates do. Mm-hmm. When you look at the sun and you see a gray, silvery haze, and you see through the haze completely to the sun, and you just see a gray silver, that is all nanoparticles. That is not real, dude. A real cumulus cloud, a natural real cumulus cloud will block the sun out. You will not be able to see the outline of the sun with a hazy circle around it. That's not real. Let me catch up to the comments. Temperature dips, RH changes. I remember the video. There was no way to verify that was the plane you saw. What about the videos where there's like planes where there's two engines, clearly two engines or three engines, and there's more trails coming out? There's like two engine planes putting out four trails. Or four engine planes putting out six trails. And if your answer is it's a vortex, every vortex video I've seen has dissipated within a minute max. Way less than a minute, but let's just say a minute max. So why were those other persistent trails showing up when the engines were there? Remember, if it's a vortex, that's just a pressure condensation. So when that water vapor eventually expands again, it's going to dissipate. Why are the vortex trails, I'm calling vortex trails, they're not really, they're chemtrails. Why are those trails technically not evaporating on a four-engine plane that's showing six trails? Explain that to me. Microclimate start. Hold on, let me catch up. Remember the video? There's no way to verify that was the plane you saw. It was totally the freaking plane I saw, dude. It was over my head. It was 4,000 feet up. I ran inside. It was right over my freaking head. It was the only plane flying on that video, and it was 4,000 feet. That was the video. But your answer is, whenever you're proven wrong, it's always like, oh, you can't prove this. That's proof right there. If you're saying it has to do with relative humidity or this, that, and the other, and I show you a plane at 4,000 feet doing that on a freaking 60-degree day.
I know. And they do it right over your house.
That's freaking proof.
On purpose.
By the way, by that way of thinking, why do clouds ever stop? By what way of thinking? Different colors, light reflection. Yes, I agree with that too, but the silvery color... Man. The silvery color is metal particulates. That's the bottom line. They're nanoparticles. Okay. What's up, Keith Barth? How you doing, bro? Haven't seen you in forever. Mike, there are hundreds of types of clouds. I agree, but it's funny that the new ones were named within 20 years ago.
Yeah.
We talk about the lizard people now. See, there you go, ad hominem. I knew it would come. I knew it would come, brother. What did I tell you? I said this is going to happen maybe once on this if somebody else joins in. What about the plane if it gets turned off when it lands? Oh, exactly. Well, that might have been a vortex, Jared. I don't know 100%. The queen, the lizard is totally a queen. There you go. Look at her eyes. LOL. Adam, I'm thumbs up on you for that one. But again, that's just crap that I don't post about because, look, let's be honest, all right? If there really are fucking lizard people running the world, then we're fucked. We can't control it.
Yeah.
They control us. It is what it is. So I'm over it. Now, if there's people spraying us and these are just really people, that's something that maybe we can do by turning the consensus fallacy the other way.
That's right.
That's the bottom line. So you get enough people to care about that, enough people to think about that, and that's the bottom line. Oh, God. I knew that was coming. That's Cyrus's favorite quote. Oh, God. Yes, Adam, we're clearly ducked. But anyway, I don't know. Anything you guys want me to talk about tonight? I mean, I talked about a lot already before this got into this turn on the conversation. Those of you just joining in now, I would go back and watch the first half an hour because we weren't talking about chemtrails and stuff. We're just talking about like how to open your mind up and see things differently. But
101.
Yeah, it's like 101, baby. Anybody want me to talk about anything else that's kind of like basic? Oh, you want to talk about global warming? I would love to talk about global warming.
We're doomed.
Jared, great Jared. Actually, I want to answer that question, Jared. Jared asked, why would everybody be talking about lizard people if there's no truth to it? Makes you wonder. And it's the same thing. Maybe, and I mentioned before, and I do the same thing with the flat earth. And that's why I say you have to look into these things. You have to question it. You might as well. What up, Daron? How you doing, brother? So you do have to question it as well, because the bottom line is this. I looked into it. I'm not convinced. Maybe some other people are. But the point is this. My theory, because I'm not convinced on those things, is maybe it's a psyops, maybe it's disinformation. Maybe it's put out there because a lot of truthers out there, like myself, that want to get the truth out there to people, maybe they want to put that out there because maybe some of them are gullible. Maybe some of them don't look into stuff, as I was saying before. You really got to do your homework and look into a lot of stuff. Don't just post things. And if they're just told, hey, lizard people are out there, maybe they believe it. And then they're going to start to post it. And then immediately, every other positive, true, real fact that they've posted in their entire life is freaking gone and out the window. That's possibly the way it works. You think the earth is flat? Gone out the window. And again, I don't question it. Do I think the earth is round? At this point, I'm 90% thinking it's round. That there was 10% of doubt in me from a couple scientific things that were pointed out to me the other day. Do I look into it again? No, because honestly, in the long run, what the hell am I going to do if the earth isn't round? I don't freaking know. You know what I mean? But you know, I guess my point is, Jared, to answer your question, I think I think there's psyops. I really do. It's to discredit the people that are free thinkers, that are thinking outside of the box, because the second one of those people shares something like that, boom, discredit every single thing that they talked about. Because the people that aren't ready to hear about the stuff that we talk about are freaking definitely not ready to hear about lizard people. You know, I don't believe that. I don't believe there are lizard people. I still believe the earth is round. What the hell else is there? I've been hearing a lot of talk about Nibiru lately, a planet coming.
Nibiru, yeah.
I haven't looked into it, you know, but I'm going to at some point. I'm gonna question everything that I've ever been taught, because why the hell not? When we talk about it on a different video of why we've been, oh dude, Rob, I don't have a freaking hat on. I saw you just joined, and Jadis isn't even down here right now, bro. I'm sorry. I love you though, anyway, brother. I get same reason they talk about Elvis sightings.
Oh no.
I get that too. Maybe you're saying it's for fame. They want popularity, and I get that too. But you know what? That's your theory to why, you know, whistleblowers step forward, and that's your theory to almost every whistleblower stepping forward, is because they just want to be famous. You know, does it occur to you that maybe some people just want to care and do the right thing? You know what I mean? That's the important thing. People care and just want to do the right thing. I do. I care. I want to do the right thing. You know what I mean? So, you know, Cyrus, maybe you're wrong about that. Maybe these people don't want to just freaking get rich off of exposing things. You think Edward Snowden wanted to be famous?
No, he's hiding.
You know what I mean? Do you think Edward Snowden really wanted to be famous? Think about that. You know what I mean? Do you think he did that because he's like, hey, you know what? When this is all over and done, if I'm not dead, I could sell a freaking book on this. You know what I mean? Whistleblowers likes you. Not at all. I believe whistleblowers likes. So why do you believe certain whistleblowers and not other one? Like, why do you not believe Kristen Megan, for instance? She's like, for anybody who doesn't know who Kristen Megan is, she worked for the, I think it was the Air Force, and she was in charge of keeping track of, you can Google her name, you'll see, she talks about a lot of different stuff, but she started off talking about chemtrails, for instance, and that's why, Cyrus and I argue about chemtrails and whatnot, but we're getting off subject. But the point is, you know, you don't believe certain whistleblowers, but you believe others. People that have been proven that the info they put out is correct. She has been disproven 100 times over. Yeah, but you know what, Cyrus? You can even look at it like even WikiLeaks might be disinformation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's what's called controlled opposition. Maybe they're
right.
Maybe they're telling you what you want to hear because they want to play both sides of the fence.
Cover.
That's anybody who's listening that pays attention to the Rothschilds know that they funded every war from here forever. So they know how to play both sides of the fence. If you agree with that, thumbs that up. That's the truth right there. So good night, Robbie. You too, brother. But that's the Air Force. There you go. So you think that this lady is, there you go, there's the thumbs up for you. So they know how to play both sides of the fence, and that's the bottom line. So that's just like they're doing with the media. Trump's the racist bad guy. Hillary's the one that's going to do everything for gay people, this, that, and the other. Like, they're going back to what we were saying earlier in the video, like way earlier. And if you're just joining me now, like we were talking about a lot of cooler stuff earlier. This has gone off like the scripted. I had stuff planned. We were talking about important stuff. We've kind of just gone into like Q&A, so to speak. You read the whole story, you see she backed away from chemtrails. I read the whole story, I see she backed away from chemtrails because she was freaking threatened. You see Robert Griffin? He didn't back away from the freaking chemtrails. Not Robert Griffin, I'm sorry, AC Griffin. He didn't back away from chemtrails. He was talking about that. Look at him. He's freaking dead now. A lot of people are dead now. Pilots know about this. They're freaking dead. The pilots that they choose, look at what the whistleblowers say. They're single guys. They don't have families. They have nothing to lose. They're freaking told, we're going to freaking kill you anyway. Like, this is what happens. Like, you speak up, you die. And that's why it's kept quiet. It's kept quiet because the media doesn't talk about it, because the media is owned by the same people that own these companies that are doing this stuff. That's the bottom line. So, like, they don't want to go against their own interests. They are out for their own benefit, would you say?
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the bottom line. Controlled opposition, Edison, exactly. You know, that's what I was just saying. That the perfect example was the election, and that's another thing that they do. You know, I was talking a lot earlier about you know, how the media controls people. Not like on the electromagnetic waves. I wasn't even talking about that. I was just talking about through public opinion, and through a new study shows this, and through Operation Mockingbird and Operation Sockpuppet. And, you know, what Dr. Nick Begich said about how they want to keep you in fear because only when you're in a state of fear and anxiety can you never reach, what was the quote? I wrote it down, actually. Dr. Nick Begich, easiest form of mind control is to give the population a sense of anxiety, worry, or fear. Then it is impossible to reach your higher steps of consciousness.
True.
Bottom line. But the important, let me kind of end on this note, because I don't want to go too long. I want to actually make this video short enough that people actually might go, that are just catching it now, actually go back and watch it. But I want to say one thing, because, you know, Ed, you mentioned a good thing about, you know, how the elections really brought up how the controlled opposition works. Millhouse, what up, brother? Me and Cyrus are debating a little bit. I know you wanted to hear this live one day. Might be the closest thing you ever hear live, bro. Mike Press, who joined, is also one of my fraternity brothers. But actually, Mike wasn't one of my pledge brothers. He was a fraternity brother. He fucking hazed me, basically. Dick. No, I'm just kidding. Mike was a great guy. We were actually friends after college, and I moved away, and I'm probably sure we would still have been friends today, if not. But I'm in Michigan now, and he's still in New York. But what was I just saying? I kind of wanted to end on this. But if Mike, see, he wasn't here the whole time. Best duo ever, he wrote. But it took a turn into starting to get a little bit of a debate. But what this video is about, and, you know, I'm going to end it now because I'm talking for a while. But, you know, go back and watch the video, because, you know, I talk about a lot of mind-opening things. And it's, you know, it's nothing political. It's really just, it's just a lot of mind-opening things I started to talk about. But basically, it's, you know, I wanted to end on this. The elections, whether you think it was rigged or not, whether you think WikiLeaks is controlled opposition or not, whether you think that Hillary should have won, whether you think that Trump should have won, whether you think he's not your president, or whatever the case is, you know, the thing is, a lot of people woke up to the games. A lot of people woke up to the BS. And that's important, because I really feel like people are going to, you know, I think that was like not like a straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, but that put like a cinder block on the camel's back right there, or maybe a couple of them, because now a lot of people are awake to the games, and hopefully a lot of people are turning off the regular TVs and getting their media from elsewhere, you know, getting their news from elsewhere, from true stuff, and that's really important. I'm going to bed too, Cyrus. I'm not going to bed, but I'm going to end the video in a sec. But much love, bro. I love you, man. I love you guys all, whoever's on the video. And my phone just gave me another message that it's going to die in a minute anyway. But my point is, a lot of people woke up to the games. So even if you've been here for a part of this video, you know, go back, watch the video. It will really help you understand how to wake up and think for yourself, rather than plugging into what the mainstream media wants you to think. Derek, anything you want to say before I get out of here? He hates being on camera. Anything you want to say while I don't hold you on camera?
No, not this time.
Not at this time. He's not much of a talker. But listen, man, peace and love. You know, I love everybody. I really do. Even the people that I debate with, I do it because I love you. And you know,
awareness is everything.
Awareness is key. Wake up. I don't use wake up, but, you know, just maybe I should say think for yourself. You know, don't think what the media wants you to think. Think for yourself. You know, put some pieces together. If it doesn't make sense, don't buy it. You know, that's the bottom line. And you know, spread love. Spread love to everybody. You know, don't spread hate. You know, even if you debate with people, don't defriend them. You know, you love each other. You have common ground. Find common ground somewhere, and just think outside the box and definitely look on both sides of the scenario. Don't, another meme that was great on the internet was, if you're not capable of changing your mind, it shows you're not using it. So even if you're 100% set on something, at least be open to something else. That's it. Anybody tuning in now, go watch the rest of the vid. I'm out. Love you guys all. And much love. Peace out. Take care.